Hello, everyone, and welcome to In the Hangar. I've got Christy Wong here. Christy, you just barely made it in under the wire here.
I had to go to my iPad.
Yeah, well, we couldn't get your computer to work, but here you are on time. To help kick this off, we got a great show tonight. We've got Steezy Kane coming on in just a few minutes. We've also have Dan Greider later on. But before that, somebody everybody always wants to is Brian Turner. Brian, turn that off?
Huh?
Radio show kind of thing. You got that
my
lag
friend
going.
Dan's doing this live stream, and I'm just watching it. This thing is this is really good. Are you watching this?
Yeah.
He's got a very handsome man with him.
Yeah.
What's going on, Dan?
I was going to say something about you got to mute yours.
Oh, I don't have it on.
Somebody does. Oh, Christy. No. Oh, maybe it's me. You know what? Oh my gosh, it was me. That's funny. Okay, sorry everybody. So, I was going to joke about Brian, about my Rona cut, and ask you, but you've always got a Rona cut going. What's up with that?
I tend to. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to maintaining just about anything, and so about once a quarter, I just do it on a 4, and that just happened to coincide with this pandemic, and so it's keeping it pretty short.
All right, so I just lost Christy, but we've got a great show. We're going to be talking about learning to fly because I'm hoping that we get a lot of people who might be thinking about learning to fly. So what do you think, Brian? How did you learn to fly? How did you get into it?
Well, it's something I always wanted to do. My dad flew when I was a kid in the 80s, and I always had model planes and stuff, just always fascinated by it. And then I got a kind of college age. I went to airports, and it's so expensive. I couldn't afford it. So I didn't even take my first lesson until I was 36 years old. I went to a couple places trying to figure out how I was going to be able to do this. And all the big schools were extremely expensive. And this sounds kind of silly on paper, but what I did was I got on Craigslist and searched for a flight instructor and found what at the time was to me a very cheap flight instructor. And so I remember having that conversation with my wife, like, so you're really getting a discount flight instructor off of Craigslist to teach you how to fly? And it turned out to be awesome. It was a really good experience. I enjoyed it. I'm friends with him to this day, and I'm glad I went the route I did.
Christy, you went sideways. How did you learn to fly? How did you get into flying? In a brief thing, because I know the long story.
You know the long story?
Yeah. Long story.
No, I've always wanted to fly, but kind of like Brian, it costs a lot of money. So I actually had a previous career that bankrolled me learning how to fly.
Well, that's good. What's funny is that the three of us have the same kind of situation in that, we didn't start when we were 17 like a Josh Flowers who, soloed on their birthday or got their license on that day. There you go. But there are quite a few people that might be watching that, they're 17, 18, 19 years old. And, how do they start? What do they do? What's the first step they do? Christy, what do you think?
I say go take a discovery flight. Go find some place where you can get a discovery flight. And then if you realize that you like it, go get a medical.
Get a medical. Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say, I would say probably the best thing that I did was I saved up for groups of lessons in a row because I did the discovery flight which was good, and then I did I did kind of a flight every time I had the money, and I found myself kind of redoing that same flight over and over because too much time had passed, and so I started saving up to where I could go fly for 5 hours, and I found that my progress started to go a lot faster when I was able to do that. So. I know young people, well, even everybody, money's a factor, but I would be as patient as possible and try to build up, to where you can get 4 or 5 hours in a 2-week period or 3-week period, so you're not repeating that one lesson every time because so much time has passed. Because early on, you're getting so much information, you need the repetition in order to cement all that stuff.
Right. Well, we're going to be having Steezy Kane on here pretty soon. He's approaching 3 million subscribers, and substantially fewer videos than like you or I. It's amazing.
I might be up to 3 million. Let me check.
Are you up to 3 million yet?
You know what? I got a little ways to go. Just a
little.
Just a little ways. I'm not ready to quit my day job.
Yeah, it's funny. Anyway, I took him on a discovery flight, and we're going to be talking to him about that here shortly. And I think he was very interested in aviation and flying, and it's great to have the Steezy fans come over and watch some aviation video and aviation focused stuff. So we're happy to have that, and we'll have Steezy on here pretty quickly. But Christy, what have you? Oh, go ahead, Brian.
So you're a CFI, Dan, an instructor. So was that flight you did with him a discovery flight, or was that just taking someone up for a ride?
Well, I mean, are you talking about a discovery flight being loggable?
Yeah.
Technically, it is loggable. He didn't buy a logbook or anything like that, but I marked it in my book. But if he were to continue on, he flew left seat. It was every bit a legitimate discovery flight. Is that right, Christy? Is that how it works?
I mean, yeah, you took him up for a flight. I mean, if he presents his logbook to you, you're a CFI. You could sign it.
Right. So, and Brian could too, right? Because he's
absolutely, yeah.
I'm triple I or something.
Yeah, I'm working on my 4th one right now.
Well, if they let you in to take the written test, that'd be good.
Hey, I'm clear now, man. For now.
Hey, so real quick, give it. You're working on a video about your FSDO trip, right?
Yeah.
When are we going to see that?
It was supposed to be yesterday, but I'm just tired of editing. It'll be tomorrow. I hope. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be Monday. So everything's good. We're all happy. The FAA laughed and thought it was hilarious and decided this one guy just had it out for me, and he said, "You're just going to have people like that in your life."
Christy, do you have anybody out there in your life like that that's just out to get you, besides Steve?
Not the FSDO. Definitely not.
Well, you play it pretty safe out there.
I mean, I'm not a huge risk taker, if that's what you mean.
Well, I would say Brian's a big risk taker, but until recently, Brian, you wouldn't even fly at night.
I don't fly at night all that often. I used to all the time. I went out and got night current about 2 weeks ago just to do it, and I enjoy flying at night. That's one less option if something goes wrong.
Are you saying that you need a legitimate CFI to go with you?
No, I'm saying in the Cirrus I'll fly at night, but that thing doesn't get out of this. If we get it back, we had some avionics upgrades, and it'll get back on Wednesday. That one I'll fly at night. I just with the Grumman, I know it's they say the engine doesn't know whether it's day or night, and I get that, but
I will be expecting a phone call. I'll keep my phone close to me, okay?
All right.
Yeah, so Steezy, we're going to add him in here pretty quick. Steezy took that discovery flight. What I decided to do, it's funny, Christy, because you and I talked about it before I went up in the air with him, was, I looked at his channel, and he does a lot of fun, man-on-the-street prank kind of videos, hidden camera kind of stuff. And I thought, well, what can I do to prank him in the plane? Because that could be a challenge. We don't want people to think they're going to die. But anyway, I knew I had the gear horn on the 210, that when I slow down, that gear horn starts lighting up the sky. I mean, it's loud and it's obnoxious.
You're so mean.
And it sounds like you're going to die. So, I had him slow it down without the gear being down, and that was a lot of fun. We're going to talk to him about that here pretty quick.
I saw that video, Dan, and I even knowing, because you told me that you were going to do that, and when I saw it, I thought, you're so mean.
Yeah, I know.
Because you weren't even jokey about it, and you didn't even let him off the hook very quick.
Oh, it was pretty quick. 10 seconds. I mean, it was pretty quick.
10 seconds is a long time in a plane when you're scared.
I've done more. Yeah, that's true. I've done better acting. I wish I'd played it better, but still, it was good. I had told his crew in the back seat what I was doing while he went to the restroom before we took to the skies. Yeah. So they knew what was going to happen. But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
If you've ever done spins, you know that 10 seconds is a long time.
Real long time.
I have to say, I enjoyed spins from the very first one.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. You know, I went up with Robert in the T-28 for his air show practice, and it was a full hour of joy and of doing all sorts of maneuvers. And he kept asking him, "Am I okay back there?" I'm like, loving it. You know, I could have gone longer. So I guess it all goes back. So anyway, we're only a couple minutes away from Steezy. Brian, you know, we got the Fizdo video with you coming up. Anything else on the horizon?
Yeah. So for those who don't know my channel, it's more comedy than aviation. So, and I don't know, Dan, this is going to sound so dumb. So what I did was I did a video where I went and I took my Grumman out and just did like hundreds of stalls. But the premise is that I replaced my stall horn with a stall horn that sounds like one of those screaming goats. I don't know why. And so I have a video of me just stalling over and over and over, and right before the stall, it's that screaming goat.
That's awesome. You know what, Brian, with your comedy channel, Just Plain Silly, for those who are watching, you need to subscribe to Brian's channel. Brian is the Steezy Kane of aviation. He does funny videos. So
I do like to have fun.
Yeah, he does.
All right, well, Brian, you don't really prank anybody though.
No, he doesn't. It's hard to prank people in an airplane. It's hard. I mean, the only thing I can think of is gear horn. So,
yeah.
All right. So, Brian, thanks for coming and leading us off.
Sure.
We're going to have Steezy next. And again, Just Plain Silly is your channel, and I hope people check it out. Thanks, man, for coming.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm gonna go hang out in the comments.
Okay.
Bye, Brian.
All right, bye, Christy.
A phone call.
I'll call you tomorrow.
All right, there you go.
All right, bye.
All right, so that was Brian and Just Plain Silly, and you guys really do need to check it out. So, Christy, Steezy's coming.
Steezy.
So here we go. I would like to bring on Steezy Kane. So, Steezy, thanks for coming to In the Hangar with us.
What's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome.
So we're good.
Just checking because I switched to the AirPod.
You can hear me too, right?
Yeah, I can.
Cool.
All right, so it's working pretty good. So Steezy, tell us, okay, you weren't born with the name Steezy. Where did that come from?
So Steezy is like a word that's used in skateboarding. Basically, if you land a trick really nicely and really clean, they call that Steezy. So I took that word, and then Kane's my middle name, and I just put them together, and I was like Steezy Kane.
We need a cool saying like that in aviation. Like,
well, I was just thinking,
grease the landing.
Yeah, if you grease the landing, that's a Steezy landing, I guess.
Steezy, clearly.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing that. Yeah.
Okay, so we will start doing that. Hey, Christy, how was your landing? It was a Steezy landing.
Dude, it was Steezy. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, it was a Steezy. So.
or sometimes what people would say, like for short, is that was Steez.
Oh. All right,
they'll put an E at the end.
Definitely using that from now on.
I may be a little too old for that, but I'll try. People may just laugh at me, but yeah.
I'm not. I'm using it.
Yeah, you're not too old yet. So anyway, it's really great to have you here. Do you know, Steezy, how you found us and how we made this connection? Do you remember originally what happened?
So I reached out about a gig or helping out on set,
right?
And then you just offered to take me on a flight, and I was like, why not? And then that's what happened, basically.
Yes, yeah. So we shoot our In the Hangar studio series where we drop those videos every Friday morning. We shoot like a 6 months in a weekend, so we'll shoot 30 to 36 shows. It's really intense. And anyway, we get people to volunteer to come in and we're in a real studio and all that kind of stuff. I think you'd enjoy it next time we do it. So
yeah, definitely. I didn't get to do it the last time because I had to go to New York, as you know. But definitely, after all this coronavirus stuff is over. Yeah.
Well, are you ready to go up in a really cool airplane?
Sure. Yeah.
All
Always
right,
down.
see, we're gonna go up in the Wong Warrior. So
In a
I know
what?
that doesn't mean anything
In a
to
what?
you yet.
Yeah. You have to explain to him what the Wong Warrior is.
Yeah.
The Wong Warrior
It sounds
is,
cool though.
yeah, it is my Piper Cherokee Warrior. It is in my humble opinion, the nicest, coolest airplane ever. And you'll get to experience it. You'll probably be like, yeah, this airplane's way better than Dan's airplane. I promise, my airplane won't scream at you like Dan's airplane.
Well, because her gear doesn't retract.
That's right. So you don't have to worry about that. It is down and locked at all times.
Interesting.
But
So
it's a
What was that
very
thing called
working
again? The gear
airplane.
horn?
It's a lot of fun to fly. So
yeah. So well, here for those who are wondering, let me just play that clip. I'm going to hide you both for a second, and I'm going to play that clip at the beginning of your video.
What'd you do?
Whoa.
No, seriously, what'd you do?
I don't know. I
Did
just
you
pulled
hit
it.
something with your knee?
I pulled this out. I was pulling the... What does that sound?
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up.
Okay, so there you go, Steezy. You heard that gear horn. And that's what that was. It was a gear horn.
In that moment, I thought we were all gonna die.
You looked really cool. Like you were very calm.
Well, yeah, because I was like, okay, I gotta stay calm. I gotta probably help land this thing.
dude,
But-
you have full on.
But inside, my
control in that
heart was
moment.
like pumping so hard.
Did you ever think you would get pranked on an airplane?
No, that's what was so genius about that is you pranked the prankster, and it was which is like the hardest place to prank someone.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Like I said in the warming up to this, you might have heard. I don't have anything left. Other than the gear horn. I mean, planes are very serious things, and we're all very serious when we fly for the most part, except for Brian. But that's another story. But anyway, yeah. So you'll be safe with Christy. She won't prank you.
I'm not going to prank you. You have my
I mean,
word.
you can prank me if you want.
Oh, okay. I see you.
Just use that time to get ideas of how to terrify me.
All right.
And to-
All right. Well, expect a text with a couple of dates. Actually, we need to coordinate on that. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Okay, so what we're talking about, Isaiah, is you going out. We call it $100 hamburger, but let me ask you this before we get to that. Have you thought about like getting back into a plane, maybe even going after a private pilot's license, or not right now, or what's your position on that?
Yeah, definitely. Sometime in the future. I don't really have time for it right now. I don't think. Maybe I do. Maybe that's just an excuse, but definitely in the future, for sure. I just want a license just so I can just pull up to the airport and just start flying.
Yeah.
Go in the sky and just, I don't know, clear my mind, think about stuff.
Hey, that's exactly what I do.
You know how sometimes you go
in the pattern.
Yeah. Like I go on drives to think about stuff, but in the sky, that's another level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the clouds. Look at the buildings. Man.
Look down on people.
That's what I do.
Look down on people. Exactly.
So one of the things you can do if you've got an airplane is what's called a $100 hamburger, and that's where you just jump in the plane, fly somewhere, and have a meal. And in aviation, that's the term that they use. So what Christy's talking about is maybe taking you to a $100 hamburger.
Well, I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
So you got lots of choices in Central Texas. You've got Fredericksburg, which has, what is it, the Airport Diner? Is that what it's called, Christy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Airport Diner. It's right there on the field.
Is it on the airport?
Yep.
Yeah.
You taxi up to the restaurant. You park, get out. And
that's
eat.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then you have other places like Llano that has Cooper's Barbecue, although we got a bad report about their transportation today. They're off-site, and so you have to get a car and go over there. But the cool thing about aviation, you might want to know, Steezy, is that most airports you fly into, they'll have a courtesy car that you just jump in and go. They trust you. They have the keys under the mat a lot of times.
Dude, okay, let me just picture this. You drive up to the airport, you go in, they've got an old Crown Vic, like one of these old police cars that are retired from the police. They just give it to the airport or sell it to the airport. Now you've got this righteous old Crown Vic that you are cruising around town in, scaring people thinking that you're the police, but you're just an airport courtesy car to go into town and get food.
That's sick.
I'm telling you, it is. I remember the first time I ever got to do the airport courtesy car. I got in and I was like, what is this? I mean, this thing was crazy. It had cracks in the windshield. It still had the light on it. So I'm driving by. People are slowing down because they think I'm the police. It was awesome.
I went on a video shoot in the Houston area, and I took the crew and the client to Victoria for a $100 hamburger. We landed, and they had the old Crown Vic that used to be a police car, but the back seat, it still had the plexiglass in between the front seat and the back seat, right?
Oh, really?
And then the back seat was it was like fiberglass. It was just a fiberglass bench with nothing to hang on to. And so we took off, and the crew was just sliding around back and forth back there. We still talk about it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you have in the aviation circle. They just give you the keys, and you go. Yeah. And you put some gas in it if you use it a little bit, and it's amazing.
How far is Fredericksburg? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Fredericksburg. From Austin, EDC, Christy, and the Wog Warrior, how long would it take you? I know in Lola, the 210, I can get to Fredericksburg in about 25 minutes.
Then I would say about
an hour and a half.
Stop it. Probably like.
Oh wait, you're not in Brian's Grumman. I'm sorry, you're faster than that.
Thank you. Exactly. And he's not here to defend himself, so that's cool.
But he's listening.
Yeah, exactly. No, it'd probably be about 45 minutes or so. I could plug in the numbers, and it'll depend on headwinds and stuff that day as well. So.
Okay, and how long would that take in a car?
Hour and a half.
Yeah. Basically, in my airplane.
Really?
Yeah, in my airplane, you can basically cut down the driving time in half or more. And I don't like Dan's airplane's actually
it's about a third
than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his is going to be even more.
So let's say it's an hour and a half drive to Fredericksburg. In my plane, 25 minutes.
That's amazing.
And you fly right over the
lake. Kind of like teleporting. Not really, but kind of.
A slow teleporting.
In my opinion, it's like way better than teleporting, actually. Because it's just so much fun. Imagine when you got your driver's license and you like started driving on the freeway and you're like scared and anxious and nervous, but really excited at the same time. And it's like 69 times better than that.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how it feels to be flying solo for the first time. That's probably really crazy and like really scary.
I'll share my solo video with you. My solo video is out there, and it is the most amazing, nerve-wracking, anxiety. Like it's just so many emotions in like one 30-minute like experience. It's crazy.
Solo's a big moment. It's probably one of the biggest moments when you learn to fly.
You'll never forget it ever.
Yeah, I soloed about 2.5 months into my training, so it doesn't take long, depending on how much you train.
Wait, how long?
2.5 months.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's amazing.
It's about how long it took me to solo. It's about because we had bad weather in March, bad weather in April. Mm-hmm. I really kicked up my training in May, and it was like end of April, beginning of May, and I soloed on May 15th. So yeah, it's about 2.5 months.
And how many sessions or like how much time did you guys spend like an average per week on those 2 months?
I went twice a week.
Yeah, I went about 2 to 3
That's
times
it?
per week. And each time it was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half at a time.
Yeah.
So
okay, I thought it would take a lot. I thought it would take way more time.
You could be soloing by the end of July.
It
Wow.
depends on
Okay,
how
then
hard.
maybe I am gonna
Look,
get
it
my
depends on
pilot's
how hard you
license.
hit it. Like there are people, and I mean there are programs out there. There are schools that specialize in like bam, bam, bam. They want to get you going. So I mean they'll fly you 5 or 6 days a week, or basically every day that the weather is good. You could get up there, you know, twice a day if you wanted to, and solo in like a week or two, you know. But
Wow.
realistically, yeah, exactly. For most of us, though, we don't have the time or the money to be able to do that. Really, it's the time for most of us. And I don't know. I think 2 months is a really good goal. 2.5 months to solo. That's perfectly normal for somebody in your position. I could get
Yes.
there.
Yeah, when you go up with Christy for the $100 hamburger, she'll put you in the left seat, the pilot seat again.
Mhm.
And Steezy, if you buy a logbook, you can log this as training.
So even just wait, I don't really know what a logbook book is, but like you just write it down.
Yeah, it's just a book.
Yeah,
Writing it
they also
down
You write down every
is as
flight
good as having
because
it
it's all about
documented.
counting the hours. So,
They
like,
sell
Uh-huh.
specifically pilot logbooks. So, like, if you went on Amazon right now and you put in pilot logbook, you'll get a whole bunch of options.
And when would that be?
when would what
Like,
be?
The $100 hamburger.
Oh,
thing.
that's what we need to talk about. We could probably, if you want, we could coordinate it and do it in like a couple weeks.
I'm down.
all right. So there you go,
Food and
Christy.
flying.
Yeah, it's hard to talk you into flying, Christy. So that's very cool. All right, so Steezy, real quick, your channel was pretty fun, obviously, and you're getting close to now 3 million viewers, and your channel's not even 4 years old yet, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 3.5.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Why do you think you've been so successful on YouTube?
Well, some of it is luck. I remember like in high school, all I would do is like after school, I would just go and film these weird prank videos. I would try to edit them into a square because that's best for Instagram. And then while I was in class, all I would do is email meme pages or any promotional pages on Instagram. Like, hey, can you post this video? And I would be getting on pages with like 70 to a million followers, 70K to a million followers. And I'll just try to get posted all the time. It'll gain more traction to
Oh, wow.
my page has my YouTube bio or YouTube in the bio. So then they'll
Right.
click that and go subscribe. But where it really popped off was I made this video where I jumped off the Santa Monica Pier for a girl's
I've seen
phone
that
number.
one. Right.
Yeah. And then that one was probably my biggest video. Not on YouTube, but on Instagram, because WorldStar posted it. Basically all the huge meme pages posted it. And yeah, and then they all went to my YouTube and watched the video and subscribed. It was crazy.
I had not thought about Instagram has been very hard for me. Christy's had a lot better luck. I think people like to follow her. So not so much. Old white guy.
People like the airplanes. That's really what it's about.
Planes are a pretty good genre for Instagram. I've seen some pretty big plane pages. You just got to know how to optimize your Instagram page. I would watch videos on YouTube. There's videos on YouTube showing you how to do that. Like even just the way you post something. If you post something landscape like this, it's not good for Instagram. But if you post it like this, it'll go on the explore page, gain a lot of views. There's like small little things of why it's better, but yeah, it's like really little things.
Yeah. Well, with your success, do you now have a staff of people working with you to kind of keep the Steezy Kane engine going, or is it still just you for the most part?
I'm still trying to build that. That's kind of what I'm like trying to do right now is build a team. I have a filmer. That's pretty much all I have, but I need to get a lot of things. Like I probably need someone to edit for me because that takes up a lot of my time. Like someone to manage other things. I don't really know yet. I'm still learning everything.
I have a partner and co-host that just happens to be in the film industry. That's how I do it.
She's talking about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, you know, with me having a video and film production company, I have staff editors and stuff like that. But honestly, with the aviation stuff, I consider that to be a non-revenue deal. So I have traditionally not used my own staff to do anything on this channel until recently with the coronavirus. Everybody shut in. I just wanted to give them something. So actually, that's why you've seen a few changes on the channel with the videos and the Instagram and Facebook stuff actually starting to look better. It's because Hannah Bradshaw and some of the people on my staff have been working on it. So,
are you gonna keep it like that?
Well, it's hard to justify it for non-revenue, or little revenue. You know, with me at only 20,000 subscribers, I'm not bringing in the big bucks, the fat stacks like you get. You know, pushing 3 million. So I don't quite have the resources from a YouTube standpoint to do that. I still need to go out and find paying customers and the TV jobs that I've been doing, TV directing and things like that. So still need to be chasing that. I'd love to mix both worlds and have a reality aviation show. And I'm looking into that and stuff like that. The virus, of course, has made that harder. So, which, by the way, where did you get that yellow suit that you had in your last coronavirus video? Did you steal that from Breaking Bad?
Where did I get it? I got it from Party City, and I bought the last 2 before they sold out. It said only 2 available. I bought them, and then it was sold out. So I'm really glad I did it when I did it.
So it's not a real suit. It was a costume.
Yeah.
A Breaking Bad costume.
Yeah. Yeah, like the gas mask. If you take off the hood, the gas mask is just like it's just like a plastic thing like that, and then the little tube things, it doesn't even go all the way around your head. And you can actually see it in the skit. Like I throw the gas mask off onto the floor, and if you look at it, it's just like a prop. But I knew nobody would notice it, so I just kept it in.
What kind of response did you get from the people on the streets other than what we saw in the video? I mean, did people just leave you alone, or did you actually get a lot of people just freaking out?
The biggest one I got was I went to this high school track where everybody goes to work out, and I went there to run my hazmat suit, and everybody was staring at me. Like everyone on the field just stopped what they were doing and just turned their heads and was like, what is that guy doing? Oh, also the skate park too. I went to skate, and then everybody just pulled out their phones and started filming me. It was funny.
Did they know who you were?
No, because I had the hazmat suit on. Well, at the skate park, I took it off because I couldn't breathe. And then there were a few people who were like, oh, that's Steezy.
How often do you get recognized? More and more, I guess.
I would say it depends, kind of. If I go to the mall, definitely. There was one time, obviously this is before the coronavirus, but I went to the mall and I needed to use the restroom. So I go to the restroom next to the food court, and there were like 20 people that follow me into the restroom to take pictures with me in there.
In the restroom?
I'm just trying
that has not happened to me yet, thankfully.
I'm just trying to use the restroom, and there's 20 people like asking for a picture, and I'm like, guys, can you just like wait outside? It was so weird.
No, that has not happened to me yet.
All right, so everybody make sure you chase Christy towards the restroom to get a picture with her.
Please don't. Oh my goodness. No.
Well, very cool. What's Steezy, you've gone from some of the reality show prank kind of stuff to doing some sketch videos, and which is it's a totally different kind of approach from a video standpoint. reality and sketch is more narrative shooting. Are you going to move towards that, or are you going to stay more the reality prank stuff?
Yeah, I'm trying to go more into sketches, and I'm trying to combine it. I think it's really interesting if I have a narrative with scripted scenes, and then also in the same video have unscripted scenes in public interacting with actual people on the street, but still in the character that's in the narrative.
Like the coronavirus video where you had the big yellow suit.
Yeah, I only did one scene that was in public, but I think it's interesting, like the movie Bad Grandpa, how they're characters, but then a lot of the movie is in public. I just think that's so interesting, and I'm trying to make that, I guess, my main content, I guess you would say. It's
just harder. I know. To do the narrative, it takes a lot more work. People don't understand.
Yeah, it takes
Are you starting to see
time.
that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because I got to write it.
You got to have a
plan all the shots. Yeah, and editing takes way longer on those. So I'm definitely still going to do my normal videos still, because I can't push out a narrative like every week. That's impossible unless I have a team. So maybe when I have a team.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, look, I really appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you going up in the airplane.
I've always wanted to say this. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's right. We get to have.
Feels like I'm on a show.
Yeah.
Well, you are. I hope.
You are.
Yeah.
So anyway, I also want to say your fans have been great. When you posted that flight video on your channel, got quite a few fans that came over to taking off, and they've been great. Your fans are super. Been very impressed. So it's not like they just come over and trash or whatever. No, they've been very supportive, very helpful, and it's great to have them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And when you and I go up, of course, we'll take a bunch of pictures and post them up on Instagram. And of course, they're welcome to follow me. It's pretty simple. It's just Pilot Christy on Instagram. So
Pilot Christy. Awesome.
And
I look forward to doing the.
And we'll set up our $100 hamburger flight.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'll put some cameras on her plane. I won't be there, but it'll be good to. The other thing is it's a little bit smaller of a plane, so there's only 4 seats.
Why?
4 seats.
Well, because he might bring some people, Christy.
He can bring one cameraman.
You can have one person.
3 people in my airplane.
Yeah, so you can have one, but you can't take 2 in hers. 2 others. You could take 2, but you'd be pushing it weight and balance, I would guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how big.
So you can't have 4 people in a 4-seated plane?
It depends on how big they are and how much stuff we have.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Why can't you have 4 people?
Yeah.
I have had 4.
But I was planning on just bringing one cameraman, so it's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. All right, Steezy. Thanks for coming, and thanks for sharing some time.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. All right. Until next time. All right. Peace.
All right, that was Steezy. And so, Christy, you're going to have a lot of fun going to get a $100 hamburger.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy. We're going to have a blast. Yeah,
you will have a lot of fun. And I just need to make sure I get the cameras. Hannah gets the cameras over to you and all that kind of stuff. And Hannah, mounted the cameras the other day for your flight with your daughter. So I haven't seen the footage yet, but hopefully everything worked out really well for that. How'd that flight go?
That actually went really great. She was really nervous, but she's also really, really excited. She wants to push through the nervousness and keep going. It also happened to just coincidentally be during the time when the Blue Angels were flying 5. So we got to fly in very, very loose formation with the Blue Angels.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've been able to talk to Steezy, and who's a brand new aviator, hopefully,
Yeah.
But I want to bring in somebody who's experienced a life of aviation. And we've got Dan Greider. And I'm going to ask that, Dan, can you, you'll need to rotate your camera because right now you're sideways. So Dan, you there? Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm here.
Yep, there we go. I wanted you to do sideways, but it's tricky because sometimes it will do weird things. But anyway, there we go. That's good. So I have with me Dan Grider. Dan,
Hey, Dan.
How are you?
Dan, you've been a pilot for like 90 years, right?
Yeah, 107 actually.
So tell our fans, the people watching, some of them may not know who Dan Grider is. So I know you fly everything from DC-3s to, 767. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I just been flying really 40 years, but I've been a flight instructor about 38 years. So just mostly general aviation, but I did 20 years at the airlines as well. So just a smattering of stuff, and try to still fly as much different stuff as I can.
So I don't know. I saw when you came backstage. I don't know if you heard Steezy. He's very interested. He took the one discovery flight with me, and he loved it. He's very interested. What would be his next steps if he wanted to get into general aviation?
Well, I think what you guys got planned there, I think some kind of a discovery flight would be next. But Dan, did you tell me that there's going to be like a whole bunch of really important people here, or is this just you and Christy tonight?
It's just me and Christy. Very
That's
unimportant.
It?
Yeah. But Brian
okay.
Turner is watching though.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take, if it's just you and Christy, I thought there was like important people here or something.
No, it's just the two of us, very unimportant people.
Okay. I'm taking my tie off then.
Okay. As long as you only do one button, I'm good with that.
Yeah. It's,
no.
That's a lot more comfortable.
So, but we do have a lot of people watching, like Brian Turner. We had Brian Wallstrom from the Experimental Aircraft Channel watching. So we do have some people out there. But not just
yeah. No, I thought you had said that there was going to be like political people and stuff like that on here, and I was going to get to make a speech.
No speech. So, what would you? What for the person that wants to become a pilot? They go on a discovery flight. Do they need to buy a bunch of stuff? Do they need a logbook? Do they need to buy headsets? What are the first steps that a student pilot takes?
Well, it all depends on the instructor, but really step one, I think the Young Eagles program is real good. That's kind of ride oriented. I always encourage the instructor, if they are an instructor, to let the student sit left seat. If you can get them in a pair of headsets, put them in the left seat, and I let them make the first takeoff and the first landing. You're going to have to help them start the airplane and help them taxi and talk to the tower for them and all that stuff. But it's so simple, and you can follow through on the controls with them. But if you can ever give a kid 3 takeoffs and landings in 30 minutes where they had their hands on the controls and they got to push the throttle forward, that's how you set the hook. Giving a kid a ride where they sit on their hands and look out the window sometimes works, and it's kind of neat, but the thrill of flying is the act of flying, and you both know that yourselves. So step one is to empower them with that throttle and yoke. And I don't care if they're only 7 years old, put them on a booster seat and let them hold on to that wheel. It's going to be totally fine.
Okay, so sorry, I got caught answering a text. So Dan, you when I asked you about coming on tonight and talking about this, you did launch into a political speech about how you thought maybe it wasn't the best time to enter aviation career. So let's go ahead and open that can of worms, and especially for Christy here, who is just beginning just got her ATP.
Yeah, and that's a tough question. By the way, congratulations, Christy. That's I knew you could do it. I didn't have any doubt. But she did just get a really tough jet ATP certificate, and that is a cool accomplishment. I'm gonna allow you to buy me a cheeseburger in celebration next time I see you. So
you got it.
You guys, it's a toss-up. We've never seen anything like this pandemic before, and I've got families and family friends calling me saying, "What should we do about Junior, who's getting ready to start college and wanting to do this aviation career? Is this a good idea?" and I'm really thinking twice about what to tell a kid right now. I don't know. I can equally see two sides of it. We could go the next 7 years with the biggest pilot glut of overpilot thing that we've ever seen, and we could go the pendulum could swing the other way as well due to all those early retirements. And as you know, once a pilot turns in his papers and walks off the property, they're gone. They're not coming back. And if we lose 60,000 in the next 6 months that go early and voluntary, and then all of a sudden airline comes back. I mean, we were in a pilot shortage before this happened. So if traffic does come back and we cut loose a tremendous amount of talent that took early retirement and is just gone, I can see that argument. I can see where it's possible that could be the scenario. And my problem is I don't have a crystal ball. I'm really on the fence on this one. I don't know.
I actually read an article today, and it was saying that cruise lines are actually seeing a huge spike in bookings for the summer. They're being sold out. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's because I don't know what the numbers look like. I don't know if they're filling it to capacity or if they're only doing half capacity or what. But I see that as a good sign, and I'm seeing a lot of people wanting to travel. So I think that it may not get back up to the numbers we had, a few months ago, but I do see a good increase happening here in the near future. So hopefully that's a really good sign.
Yeah, well, keep your fingers crossed, Christy. That's as you know, it's a numbers game. Yeah, I see you.
Crossing all the things.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, and I'd probably be a poor guy to ask for advice right now on what to tell a kid. I mean, other than follow your heart. When I got into flying, I had no idea that you could even make money in aviation. I had no idea. I just flew airplanes because I liked airplanes and nothing else really mattered. And I would eat a peanut butter sandwich if I got to wash an airplane and got a 20-minute flight. I was good with that. No idea that a actual career and making a living in aviation was even possible. Never even entered my mind. I just kind of followed my heart. And if you're totally into it, if you get into aviation and get hooked in it, you're probably going to find a way to survive, even if it's not via the major airlines or some big something. There's so much stuff you can do out there, and pipeline and power line and offshore stuff and third world stuff and flying and cargo and 135 and corporate and stuff like that. There's a lot of flying to be done, even though we just went through the pandemic. So I guess bottom line, I would say follow your heart. If you're truly into airplanes, then nothing else matters anyway, and you're just going to do airplanes.
I think that describes you, Christy.
No, absolutely. I was just thinking, if you told me I'd give up my second favorite thing, which would be cheese, in order to continue flying, I would give up cheese in a minute. And for those of you guys that actually know me, you know how much I love cheese. Cheese and flying are my two love languages. So.
And Steve's like third?
What?
Steve's third on this list, so it's flying, flying, cheese, Steve.
Well, that's flying, cheese, warrior, and then we'll talk about the rest later.
Uh-oh. Okay, so Dan, let's pivot then into a little bit away from the new flyer. Let's talk about the experienced flyer. As you know, yesterday in our area, I fly a 210. And, of course, I got tons of calls and texts yesterday. A 210 out of the airport, I got my private. A 210 went down. It looks like they went down just after takeoff. So I'm assuming loss of thrust on takeoff. This has been your war cry. It's been your campaign. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's been one of them. And, it's kind of early to tell. I just saw the news reports, and I had, as you know, a lot of friends out there, NTA people in the area. A couple of them were actually on the scene and rushed to the airplane, but several witness accounts said he lost power. He'd been doing touch and goes and lost power. Yeah, and you notice I'm wearing my Aviation 101 cap. All you YouTubers out there, I'm not a YouTuber, but I want you to know that Josh is the only one that has ever given me a ball cap. So I'm gonna wear it. And Josh and I just finished a series on this very thing: loss of thrust on takeoff, and this whole thing for the thing that we did on your video describing this this new concept for kind of beefing yourself up on the maneuvers that can kill you once you get your pilot's license. Actually, this cap is the only thing that any YouTuber has ever given me, bar none. I mean, not even a cheeseburger.
Not even flight chops?
Flight Chops is the cheapest one out there. Flight Chops, the only thing I've ever gotten from Flight Chops was a sticker. And I said, seriously, you're going to give me a sticker?
Hey, I got a sticker from Flight Chops.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good for a sticker. And that's
I almost wore my Aviation 101 cap tonight, but I forgot it in the plane.
We need to get Dan.
The problem is,
get Dan a taking off shirt.
I'll wear it. My offer is I'm willing to accept anything that you cheap YouTubers will give me. But so far, I don't have a YouTuber that's given me nothing yet.
Well, the problem is even Christy doesn't have this. This is a sample sent to me by somebody offering to make the T-shirt.
I'm the co-host, and I don't even have a taking off shirt. So
yeah. No, it's all good. You guys are doing great with what you're doing and your channel, and the whole YouTube thing is a mystery to me. I mean, even this thing here, I had to download the app to do this live thing. I'm not a techno guy, so all this.
You made it.
Yeah, you noticed.
You made it.
Yeah, I'm here, but some crazy stuff.
So, Dan, what talking about the AQP, which is the letters came from the airline industry. It's a new way to think about the flight review. Is more and more of us are going to start. More of us CFIs are going to start doing more of an AQP approach to the flight review. Some people may wonder, is that different than a flight review? Does it cost more than a flight review? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, a flight review, according to the FAA's requirements, is by definition, it's cheesy. It's flimsy, cheesy, very vague. There's not much there. You think about it, 1 hour of flying every 2 years is all you're required to have. I mean, and the advisory circular that talks about what to do in a flight review just says the maneuvers pertinent to the certificate held. Use the ACS pertinent. So if you were a private pilot, use the private pilot ACS for some ideas. But there's no minimum or maximum of what to do. You can literally go for $100 hamburger on your FAA flight review as long as you get an hour's worth of dual and somebody to sign your book. It's legal. And my point is, we annual our airplanes, and they have to be signed off by an IA who was going to squawk the tiniest little thing, not give you your airplane back, holding that aircraft to the highest standards. And then you go get a medical, and a medical doctor has to sign you off as being fit to fly every 6 months or year or however long your medical is good for. And then it comes to the pilot, the guy that's actually controlling the airplane. What's our requirement? Give him an hour every 2 years, and that's good. And that fully explains our general aviation accident base. We're not doing enough review in other industries. What do we call it? Continuing education. We need more continuing education, and the material that we should be talking about in this continuing education are the maneuvers that are going to kill you. And the one that you mentioned, loss of thrust on takeoff, I can almost promise you, if you haven't thought about it and haven't practiced it, you're going to dork it up. If you get a real one, you probably are not going to survive. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Along those lines, I've actually been working, one of the videos that we've got coming up soon is a video going over the impossible turn. And, I've had my opinion actually changed pretty dramatically over the last month or so. with hearing some other people talk about it. Before I reveal my position, what's your thoughts on the impossible turn?
Well, they call it the impossible turn, and I've been asked that same question 50 times. There's no way to answer that, but I can tell you, if you don't lower the nose when you have your engine failure, the impossible turn is not possible. The impossible turn only becomes possible if you save your life first, get light the seat, lower that nose, establish a glide, and get that nose down, headed for the earth. Then you might be able to turn back. You might not. Depends on the airplane, the winds, the runway. Depends on all of those things. I would kind of keep it in my back pocket as something to think about. But, all those NTSB reports always talk about they saw the airplane take off, it lost power, and the airplane turned left like they were trying to turn back to the airport. The airplane didn't turn left turning back to the airport. They stalled and the left wing dropped, and it looked like a rapid turn. The eyewitness is going to tell you it looks like a turn, but that's what a stall spin looks like. You get about a half a turn out of it, and the airplane ends up facing the opposite way, and that's what happens. So the more education, I mean, these YouTubes that these guys are doing, Chops and 101, and you guys, they're free for the taking. There's I'm not getting paid. There's nobody making a salary
Josh
off
paid you a hat, so
I got a hat. That's the first, and I'm not selling. I was thinking about putting it on eBay, but I'm keeping this thing. This is like the first. This is totally awesome.
And by the way, for those watching, I put Josh's channel in the comments. He does have a great series with Dan on AQP. It's a must watch. If you want to become a better pilot, it's a must watch. So,
yes, we've taken a little bit of grief, a little bit of heat over naming it AQP, and Christy's an airline person. She's been through AQP, but really we had to name it something. AQP is just a philosophy. That's all it is. It's the same philosophy that the airlines use, which is make up your own maneuvers that are pertinent to what's going to hurt you out there. So in the airlines, Christy got to do some things recently on her ATP check ride that are not in the private pilot ACS, and that's because the airlines, due to AQP, they petitioned and said for, I don't know, Christy, what are you flying, an ERJ or?
Yeah, I'm flying the 175.
The 175. So that's an airplane with slats, and you add a slat malfunction to the 175, and that's not on the private pilot check ride. That's specific to that airplane and that operation. And Christy had to do a slats only approach. Probably did a no flap, no slat approach. Yeah, with heavy brakes and check your brake temperature, didn't you?
Yeah, that was fun.
A lot of fun. But AQP just means that anything's fair game. We're going to make up our own maneuvers and call it a check ride in the airlines, and we're going to tailor our training and our checking current to the things that can happen to you. And a no slat approach can happen on a 175, and that's how come she had to get checked on that. And I just copied the concept. I took all the NTSB data for how we're killing ourselves and went in and made up the maneuvers that go hand in hand with each method of killing ourselves. Now, here's a maneuver that you can practice, and guess what? It's not going to be a steep turn or a lazy 8 or an S-turn across the road. You know how to do those, and that's neat. Now, here's the ones that can kill you, and that's all I'm doing. I apologize to those that have heartache for me calling it AQP. Yes, I stole that.
Yeah, I've seen some comments, and it was wondering about that. Yeah,
how
you felt about it.
Yeah, well, we got to name it something. I stole the philosophy. I stole the name. That truly is what AQP is. And when AQP started with the airlines in about 1993, they started with the ATP PTS. That was their foundation for building AQP, and it evolved into data collection and FOQA and all these other things that they used to refine it. But they started with the PTS and said, let's take the good out of the PTS, let's modify it, let's add some things. That's all we're doing here with AQP. I apologize for naming it AQP.
Well, you can give it other words. That's all fine. By the way, just in reaching out to our people watching, Anthony, excuse me, something in my throat. Corona. No.
Oh my gosh.
Anthony asks, any advice for a 47-year-old just getting started? Should I go for a younger CFI or an older experienced CFI? And how about mental fatigue? Does it get better after I pass the written? What do you think, Dan?
Well, the CFI is a personality thing. I don't really discriminate based on age or sex or color of their skin or what they look like. I got to find a personality that I can work with, and everybody's got a little bit different teaching style. So you got to find somebody that you can connect with at the water cooler, that you feel good with, that's on your level, that's not screaming at you, and that you can communicate with. Could be an old guy, could be a young guy. I've seen lots of really talented young kids coming through the ranks. So it's a personality thing too. You're going to be in an airplane 2 feet away from this person, so find somebody that you get along with, eating a cheeseburger with, and then see if you can morph on over to the airplane and see if you're still getting along with them.
Wholeheartedly. Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
about personality.
Well, and Anthony, I'll tell you that I started flying at 49, so I was only 2 years older, and my CFI was 21 or 22, and that didn't bother me at all. And he was a good guy. I've took some lessons in another type of aircraft that I got a rating in, and I did not mesh with this older instructor at all. So it just depends. It's more personality than age. So as Dan Greider has just said.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, it's trial and error. You might have to go through a couple, but I can tell you, if you ever get one that's a screamer, that all they do is scream their instructions. All you need to do is just get out of the airplane, because it doesn't work.
Well, it's not the screamer for me. It's the person who won't let me fly, who won't let me make some mistakes, who wants to correct everything.
Yeah.
And I never get the time to work on it. That's what drives me crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But good questions.
Well, and he's got another question. That's is there any advantage during a check ride of asking it for a discontinuance if something goes wrong with the DPE?
If something goes wrong with the DPE, or if something goes wrong with your own performance?
I think he means with the performance. If the DPE passes out, I think you definitely have a discontinuance. But I'm going to say with his performance.
Well, keep that discontinuance thing in your hip pocket, because you are able to stop a check ride. The applicant can stop a check ride anytime they want to. And DPEs also have personalities. And if you ever get one that's woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and you know that they're not being courteous and professional, and you have the right to say, you know what, I'm just not feeling this. Let's take this back to the airport. I want a discontinuance. And I've had really, really good luck with your general aviation DPEs, but there are a few out there that, especially in the old days, that we have used the discontinuous thing. I've sent some people that said, now, if this thing goes downhill and this guy starts screaming and being unprofessional, you just say, I would like to discontinue at this time. And you've got that right to do that. Pretty unusual these days. And you should kind of get to know your DPE a little bit before you end up on check ride today. Maybe meet them in the lobby a couple times and shake hands and all that stuff. So
yeah, find some people too, like in your area, that know the DPE, maybe have taken a check ride with them, and get a gauge just on the personality, of that DPE. Sometimes DPs just have really weird things, like, I want you to use paper charts and not ForeFlight, just little things like that. It's really helpful to know what you're going into.
Yeah, it's true. Each one of them is so different. I mean, it's like women. How do you figure out women? They are so... I mean...
I say the same thing about guys, so...
Yeah, trying to figure out DPEs, trying to figure out instructors, but all you can do is try it, and it's a one-on-one thing. Learning to fly is one-on-one, and your check ride is going to be one-on-one. So the personality aspect is really tough. That's why I have an amazing personality.
Well, when are you going to become a DPE?
I don't want to be a DPE.
All right. Well, Dan, I really appreciate you coming on tonight and talking not only about some learning to fly stuff, but also about the AQP stuff that's going on. It does feel like we're getting a grassroots movement that's gaining some traction, and I like to see that. I'm glad to see that. So,
You betcha. Thanks for having me on the channel here, and good luck to you guys. And I'm sure I'll be in Texas here in the next couple weeks. I'm coming out to do a bunch of AQP one day full. They're 10-hour days a piece, but I've got about 12 guys signed up right now. I'm doing about 12 AQPs in a row.
wow.
Starting
That's great.
starting about May 18, I think. But they're bloody. They're long. It's a lot of flying and a lot of ground school and stuff like that. But I put people through the paces and get them totally beefed up. I wish I'd had a chance to get to that guy in the 210 prior to this, because that is so easy to fix. What he did is so easy to fix, and it's just such a shame. And our thoughts and prayers with that family and those friends and this loss. That's what's so crazy about the whole thing. That loss is absolutely not necessary. It's painful, and that loss is not necessary.
Speaking of things coming up, did you want to say anything about what you're thinking about for July, or is that something that's not announced yet?
Well, no, we don't have it announced, and it's pretty informal as well. But we'll make an announcement on that. It's just a little informal gathering of some YouTubers that we're going to try to put together. Instead of doing it virtual, we're going to actually all get together and have a little bit of fun and fly some airplanes. I'm hoping. We haven't put it together yet, but just kind of in conversation spot here right now. So love to have you guys show up for that. Even Christy, if you have to, it'd be fine.
If you have to. All right. Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you.
You bet. You guys have a good night.
All right.
Bye.
All right. So there was Dan Greider, who's been doing the AQP grassroots movement, and it's really is taking steam. What do you think about it, Christy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good idea to personalize BFRs for people anyway. Just because, like he said, it's not the steep turns or the slow flight or the, S turns or the turns are in a point. Those things are not things that people are doing all the time. It is good to get out and refresh some of those maneuvers, but really and truly, I want to see how people are flying the airplane during BFRs for their normal operations. I want to see landings and, cross countries. I'm also looking at their situational awareness. How are you using situational awareness? So I think what he's doing by incorporating all of that and doing things like the impossible turn and stuff, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. I think that I'm going practice a lot more rejected takeoffs and things like that. So I think that it's really good stuff, and also add that to my flight review.
I'm going to be doing that as well. In fact, we have multiple aircraft in the flying club. So not only am I going to take the Warrior up and do it, I want to do it in the 172s. I would also like to do it in the club's Cherokee and the 182, because I want to get a sense for how each of these aircraft handle the impossible turn at different altitudes. So
yeah, and I need to look at my numbers again. So it'll be interesting to see putting together this impossible turn video. Yeah.
Well, when I start doing it, especially with the Warrior, we can throw some cameras on board and get some footage of that. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay. Well, very cool. It was great having Steezy on, and I'm looking forward to you and him going and grabbing that $100 hamburger. That's going to be a fun video.
Yeah, it really is.
And you'll have to be thinking about what kind of practical joke you can pull on him.
I've got some good ideas.
Really? Okay. Well, don't he may.
I do.
He probably wouldn't watch this long into the video, but all right.
I've got some good ideas.
All right. So everybody out there, thanks for watching. We really appreciate you guys. We crossed 20,000.
I know, that's crazy. They're like,
Yeah.
it's happening.
It's happening. So, you know, of course, you know, then we have Steezy on with 3 million, but, you know, but we also had Brian Turner on with like 100. So it all just kind of balances out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of it too is making sure that people are following our Instagram accounts, and that way they're kind of, you know, they're getting information, you know, Facebook as well. We've got the YouTube, or excuse me, the Taking Off Facebook account and stuff like that. So, and then
Yeah.
people can get an idea of what we're doing behind the scenes as well. So, oh,
Yeah.
and look, Wolf Pilot just
Yeah,
jumped on
Jay.
and said hi.
Yeah, Jay came and he was at the In the Hangar shoot for all 3 days watching.
He
So
sure was, yeah.
So that was fun. Oh, Brian just saw my slam to him. Hey, Brian. Anyway, it's been great. I really appreciate all you guys coming and watching and subscribing. And I think after listening to Steezy, I think that we definitely can do more Instagram kind of stuff to get out there. I hadn't thought of it about more of the short stuff just to get people over, for people to pick up and share. That's interesting. So
yeah, I think for me, you know, I'm all about just trying to get our name out there so that we can continue giving more aviation content. As you know, I'm all about it. I'm all about the aviation. I want to get aviation out to the masses. So
yeah, I do too. So all right, thanks. And Christy, another show. We were able to do one live, so this was fun.
thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right, see you guys next time.